and we are back with my guest, Miss Mary Abbajay. I tell you, she's a public speaker. She is a organizational consultant. She's an author, and I tell you, this book, Managing Up, I cannot wait to get into it. She has a master's degree in organizational management and a postgraduate certificate from George Washington University.
Georgetown. They get very picky about those.
That's right. Oh, my God. Georgetown. That's right. And the Coaches Training Institute.
Yeah.
So, Mary, I'm so excited that we have finally connected. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon. I am so excited to be here, and I was loving your other guests.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I want to go on that cruise.
I know, right? Oh, my goodness. So, my first question for you is to tell us about Career Stone.
Oh, well, it's my little baby. So, Career Stone is an organizational and talent development company.
Yes.
We work with government and private sector. We've been around for about 12 years.
Wow.
I like to say we do two things. We either help people play nice together at work, right, the organizational development piece, or we help people be successful at work and so they can play nicely.
Wow.
So it's really about creating great workplaces and where people can be great at work.
Wow. And so how long? You said 12 years.
I've been doing this company for 12 years. I've been a consultant, organizational development consultant, and corporate trainer and speaker for, over 17, maybe
my
20.
Goodness.
I used to own a bar too before that.
Really?
I've been self-employed.
Okay.
I was listening to the entrepreneurs. I've been self-employed for almost 30 years.
Oh my goodness. How awesome is that?
It's
oh my
awesome.
goodness.
But you know what, people? It's a lot of work. So I love it. There's no going back.
Right.
But don't think like if you want
That's
to start your
right.
own business, you should do it. But you will never work harder in your life. I think you will work so hard, but it's good work.
It's good work. Exactly. And so you authored and published Managing Up. And I tell you, this book has been on fire. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but it's Managing Up. And I tell you how to move up, win at work, and succeed with any type of boss.
Yes, it is.
So why did you publish this?
So I've been in my work, I come across a lot of people, happy and unhappy. And I hear from managers, how they're frustrated with their staff. I hear from staff how they're frustrated with their managers. I'm always like, well, why don't you guys just talk to each other? Like, why don't you just adapt to each other? And then I was noticing that there are literally hundreds of thousands of books, TED Talks, webinars, seminars on how to lead, how to manage, right? It's a $14 billion, with a B, billion-dollar year industry. Yet the number one reason people leave their jobs is because of their boss. So I thought, well, why are we teaching people how to manage when they clearly don't get it? Why don't we teach people how to manage up?
Yes.
Like, why aren't we paying attention to teaching people about how to lead from below, which means how to talk about the F word, which is followership. Like, we don't really talk about what that part of the equation looks like. So that's why I decided to write the book.
Wow.
I wanted to empower people. I wanted people to know that if your boss isn't perfect or isn't the right boss for you, you don't have to just go into a cloud of bitterness or become a victim. There are things that you can do to make that relationship work.
Absolutely. And I wanted to talk about your first. You have proven strategies to manage up the Energizer boss. And your first one is build relationship.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Because I believe, I don't care what industry you're in, you have to establish and maintain those relationships. Talk about that.
You do. Well, the workplace is a social system, right? And that means we have to do work with, through, sometimes around other people. But we work with other people to get stuff done. And relationships are key for success in any organization. And the most important relationship is that of your boss. And which can be really easy, right? Because it might be like, roll in and you and I are perfect for each other. And it's like, holla, I just get to be me.
That's right.
But chances are personalities are different. And so you have to really learn to pay attention to who your boss is, how you're the same, how you're different, and then you've got to figure out what you're willing to adapt to. So for the Energizer, right? So the Energizer boss is the kind of boss who is very positive, right? Go, 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 fast-paced, wants to have things done, wants people to work well together, but doesn't want to get bogged down in detail. So if you have an Energizer boss, you have to make sure you're working with that energy, not against it.
I love that. And so one of the, probably one that I hear most often is the micromanager.
The most dreaded boss
of all.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you go into detail about that. Talk to us a little bit about that.
The thing about micromanaging, and it's so common, and I truthfully don't know if it's really that common or it's because it bothers us the most. So the micromanaging, the clash happens when human beings have a need for autonomy. It's a neuropsychological need, as you know, from Dr. Roxell, for autonomy. And managers sort of have a need for control. It's like the other end of the spectrum. So when those two needs clash, like, bam, it feels like micromanaging, and it really upsets us. So micromanagers come in all shapes and sizes. You know, some do it because they need control. Some do it because they want inclusion. Some do it because they're perfectionists, right? And some do it because they're horrible people. But most people do it just because they need more information or inclusion. So it's very common, but if you have one, easy peasy lemon squeezy to deal with. First of all, you got to give them what they want. They want information. So flood them with information. Be proactively. Tell them ahead of time what you're working on. I recommend doing like a daily email or a daily memo. Here are all the projects I'm working on. And I want you to be thinking about it in terms of the order of what's important to your boss. Make sure they know, and do this every day. Give them status reports. Get their input before you are done with the project. And you're going to resist this because you're going to be like, well, I don't know, I'm going to be babysat and this and that. But you don't have your choice. The more information they get, the more sense they understand what's going on with you, then their trust will build and they will let it go. So you have to do right. Ron's, and Mr. Engineers, he's nodding like, hey, but we resist having to do it because it's not fair, it's not right. Well, guess what? You can't change your boss. You can only change how you interact with them. So micromanagers, flood them with information, give them a sense of control. If they want to be CC'd, for God's sakes, just CC them. Like, don't resist it. You're just not going to win that battle.
Wow, I love that. And so why is managing up important for success?
It's important for success because at the end of the day, it's about having adaptive strategies for relationships. It's about being flexible with who you are and how you interact with other people. It's about emotional and relational intelligence. It's about understanding, like, I'm an introvert, let's say, so I like to walk the world like this, blinders on. Like, I don't want to say hello to anybody. Like, I just want to do my stuff. But if I'm working with you and you're an extrovert, then that's going to come across to you as very rude or dismissive or aloof. So we have to get past the golden rule, which is treat others like we want to be treated, because that works when people are just like us.
Right.
And we want to go to the platinum rule, which is find out what others like in relationship and in communication preferences and try to meet them halfway at least.
I love that. Oh my goodness. And so you talked a little bit about some strategies to use with the Energizer boss, with the micromanager. But what if you have just a straight difficult boss? What are some strategies?
So you have to kind of identify the actual difficult boss, like the different types that it is. So when you have like a truly difficult boss, like a truly terrible boss, is that what you want to know about? All right. So we call those the psycho, tyrant, crazy bullies. Like, these are the bosses beyond the pale. If your boss is at all emotionally abusive or physically abusive or just a horrible person, like an extreme narcissist, then I think there's not that much you can do to manage up. And what I recommend, honestly, with that is I think it's time to quit. I don't think anyone should work for somebody who completely devalues them and doesn't let them become valuable. And only you can make that choice, but people have a hard time making that choice. And I would just say, we throw up a lot of these barriers that, oh, I can't find another job, or I need this, or I need that. Well, your concerns might be valid. You don't know that they're true unless you search. But the danger of staying with a truly toxic boss is very real. The real danger for your health, mental health, physical health, it's a real danger for your self-confidence. And if you are in that situation where you are feeling like every day you are cried before you go to work, or you know, it is just permeating your entire life, then it's time to quit.
Wow.
And until you do, you have to protect yourself.
Wow. That's deep.
I know no one says that, but I'm here to say it. Like, you know, I'm here to say it. Like, you shouldn't quit at the first sign of trouble. Like, you should grit it out a little bit and try some strategies. But when that boss is really so horrible, I worked for an elected politician in D.C. very many years ago. He's dead now, so. And he was a screamer. He was a screamer and a micromanager. Like, he would just scream in your face. And I just got to the point where I was like, you know what? Council chairperson, I don't need this. And I quit. I didn't have another job, but I quit.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. So what are some obstacles that one may face while they're trying to manage up?
Well, the biggest obstacle is our own ego. Let's be really clear. So we get caught in this, like, I'm right, my boss needs to, or my boss should, like the shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? And then we, because our boss is, you know, not doing that, we just sit back and wait for them to do it. Well, that's stupid because it's your career and your career matters. So the first obstacle is ourself. The second obstacle is perspectives. Like, we get caught in our own fixed perspective.
Yes.
Like, I see the world from where I sit in the organization, and the boss sees the world from where he or she sits in the organization. And sometimes our inability to transcend our perspective into another perspective can hurt us. And then I think the third thing is we have this tendency to assign intent that we don't really know. It's the fundamental attribution error, right? So we see behaviors in others that we don't like, and we blame it on their character. Like, if you're driving and someone cuts you off, you say, what a jerk, or worse, right? We make it about their character. But when we're driving and we cut someone off, we say, oops, accident, my mistake. So when we see like micromanagers or people who are impulsive or incompetent, we assign it to their character. Once we decide someone's character is unworthy, then we stop caring, or we stop trying. So we have to stop doing that and look at the behavior non-judgmentally in order to find a really pragmatic strategy to move ahead.
Wow, I tell you. All right, the last boss I want to talk about that you speak of is the workaholic boss.
Well, you're talking to one right now, so I'm going to give you some real tips. Yeah.
Tell us about the workaholic
All right,
boss.
so the workaholic bosses, this is what they really care about. They care about work. And don't make up the story that they have no life. Well, they may not. But, you know, generally speaking, they're usually very passionate about the work. It means a lot to them. So it needs to mean a lot to you. So if you're working for a workaholic, a couple of things you want to do. One is you want to really make sure what their expectations are of you. So if they're emailing you on weekends or texting you after hours, be sure you have a clear conversation. Do they really expect you to answer that? Or are they just like downloading as things come across? Like for me, I do that with my staff, but weekends are when I actually get my work done. So I don't actually expect them to answer, but I like to do that. The other thing is you want to be clear about what your boundaries are. So, and not in a way where it's at 5 o'clock, I'm not working anymore, but, you know, let your boss know here's when you're available and when you're not. For the workaholic, you want to show that you're productive all the time. So when you come into work, you got to bring your A game every day. And you also want to keep them informed of all your productivity. Don't assume they know. And a workaholic boss is going to want to see, like, oh my God, Dr. Sharon, you're just knocking this stuff out. Like, show them that. And then my last tip for the workaholic, well, I have 2 more tips. Every now and then, you're going to put an extra effort. They're going to appreciate that. Maybe you stay late 1 night a week or 2 nights a month or on a weekend for a special project, stay late. And my last thing is, the truth bomb here, dropping it, is that even when your workaholic boss says, I don't expect you to work as hard as I do, we secretly love it when you do. So any extra effort you put into your workaholic boss, the truth is they're going to love you a little bit more than your colleague who is really only working 9 to 5. It doesn't even have to be that much more. I'm just dropping the truth bomb.
Wow, I tell you, guys, you have got to pick up Managing Up. I tell you, for all types of bosses, she helps you through it, gives you some practical strategies and tips to work it out. And I tell you, please tell everyone where they can connect with you, where they can find this book and all this good stuff, because you are on the go. I'm going to tell you.
Thank you, honey. Okay, so at Mary Abbajay, you can tweet me, LinkedIn me, Facebook me. CareerStoneGroup.com is our website, or ManagingUpTheBook.com, because Managing Up is taken. ManagingUpTheBook.com. Available on Amazon now.
I tell you, you've got to pick it up. I tell you, just an awesome book. Mary, I thank you so much.
You are such a delight.
It has just been awesome. And I truly encourage everyone to get this book, because it's just some great information.
And I encourage everyone to keep tuning in to Dr. Sharon. She's up to awesome things.
Thank you so much. Guys, what a wonderful interview segment. But we're going to be right back with our final and awesome guest, Miss Anita Washington from That Anita Live.
Nobody's stopping my shine. They try to break me, try to take me out, but I got Jesus on my side. So bad I thought I would die, but ain't no how